What's up, Internet people, citizens of the web, netizens, whatever we want to call it? Hey, I just want to come out and put my 2 cent in on some of the shit that I see going on in this crazy fucking country that we're living in, man. We're in a really pivotal time. I wonder if some people even believe that they are trying to impoverish this country, as we've seen with so many other third world countries. I wonder, do people even believe that oligarchs would even have that goal in mind to do so? I believe it. There's a lot of evidence out there that points to it if you know what you're looking at. Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a battle because America has gotten used to, our people, we've gotten used to having it. To try to reduce it, man, that's going to be a hell of a battle. That's why you hear this huge exodus of people leaving this fucking country, because I think some people see the shit coming and others don't. But we're going to go in a little bit on this shit, man. Trump coming back into office. Man, that's some pivotal shit here in this country. Uh, here's a guy who tried to fucking overthrow the government, man. Not leave the office the first time. I think that evidence proved that, this dude on some dictatorial shit, dictatorship shit, ruling his way. The Democrats, they threw a Hail Mary pass. They realized Biden was showing signs of aging, uh, wasn't as sharp. And they feared that he was going to lose to Trump, obviously. So they threw a Hail Mary pass. They propped Kamala up. If anybody plays football, you know what a Hail Mary pass is. Last minute. And the shit didn't work. I mean, the truth is, it's not that Trump totally outperformed her. I looked at some of the numbers. It seems to be because 7 to 8 million people that voted for Biden just didn't even come out to the elections. I don't doubt that all the all those voter suppression tactics, that shit was real. I don't doubt that some of that shit worked too. But the truth is, according to some of the information I looked at, Trump picked up a few million more voters than 2020. But the most noticing numbers is 7 to 8 million people on the Democratic side said, "Fuck all y'all. I ain't voting for none of you motherfuckers. I don't trust none of that shit." And they just didn't show up. So, if you ask me, the Democrats should have put Bernie Sanders up there. Uh, yeah, I believe from a popularity standpoint, he would have won. Yeah, but they say he's too much of a socialist. They say he really goes against the corporations, works hard to make them pay their equal share of taxes, similar to what FDR did in the 30s, which we'll talk about a little bit. But Democrats should have knew that. If you really was concerned about the democracy of this country being at stake, You should have went with Bernie. You kind of wanted to still get your candidate in there. Well, I think most people would agree that Bernie would have been a better candidate to keep the Democrats in. Now, yeah, it just goes to show that fucking Democrats are pro corporation too. We're gonna talk about that shit, man. We're gonna get into it. Trump's got a dilemma right now on his hands. The billionaire corporations is what put this motherfucker into office, right? They spend the money to his campaign. Elon Musk was giving this motherfucker $40 million a month, some shit. He was paying voters to go recruit other voters, in which they would get paid for recruiting, similar to a network marketing pay structure, Herbalife, Amway, or prepaid legal. Everybody gets a little piece. This motherfucker created a network marketing pay plan to get this motherfucking Trump into office. Many of these corporations, the billionaires, they wanted that motherfucking office. And they paid. They spend billions of dollars in the campaign for him to go out on the trail and get voters. That's what that money's for. But they want something in return. These motherfuckers want their favors when it comes to passing laws and shit like that. And it seems like most of those laws are to Congress and senators that favor keeping them motherfuckers rich and keeping the working class people poor. Yeah, Trump's got to pay that back. So he's got the dilemma going now. Well, the billionaires is like, pay up. So you see this H-1B visa shit going on. And they're trying to bring more immigrants to get these jobs, these tech jobs and shit. And you got all these motherfucking dumbass white people who voted for Trump that's like, those jobs supposed to be for us. So it goes to show you that Trump will tell you whatever you need to hear. That's how you approach any fucking speech. You listen to him talk. That motherfucker will say anything you need to hear in the moment. Let me qualify that dumbass white people statement. Yes, some dumb motherfuckers. But, it seems like Trump base is divided into millionaires and fucking trailer park white people. The motherfuckers who can't tell you one or two of his policies. They just, he's going to close the borders and keep our jobs. Guess what? The billionaire motherfuckers who funded his campaign, they want the immigrants. Why they want the immigrants? Because the immigrants, they work in agriculture out there in the fields, picking vegetables and fruit. They work in the restaurant industry, dishes, and a lot of under the table money, getting paid on the cheap, construction, cleanup. They do a lot of shit that Americans won't do for cheap. These corporations are so full of shit. We're going to talk about these motherfuckers. They, just like they've done throughout the history of this fucking country, are inviting, paying for, and housing cheap labor, as they've done throughout the history of this country, which we're going to talk about. These same corporations Spent billions with Trump. They ain't spend that money for nothing. They spend that money because you're looking at your new workforce, your immigrants. So while he's selling that story, we're going to close the border, protect our borders, and it's going to fix our economy. These motherfuckers who funded his campaign, that ain't what they want. they want these motherfuckers. So let's talk about that shit, man. Let's talk about it. And these corporations, man, man, these motherfuckers got to pay their share of taxes in order to get this economy back together, but they don't want to. Think about it. The first 200 years in this country, free labor, black people. Can you imagine having a race of people work for you for 200 plus years? You know how many white families that shit has enriched? Um, you know how many legacies it's created where these motherfuckers can pass money down to their generation after generation after generation because of free labor. That's what the country was built on, free labor. That's where it started. Okay. So then, just kind of move through some time. When you think about the minimum wage, uh, it's a form of cheap labor. Most of my life, coming up, minimum wage was $2 to $5, some shit like that. FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt, in the 30s, right after the Depression, this motherfucker, he was the only president elected 4 times by the people, most popular president. He only served 3 terms. I think he died at the beginning of his first term, some shit like that. But the only president to be elected 4 terms. Because this motherfucker had a wealth tax. And that wealth tax was those who, at that time, I think the numbers were made over $5 million, they paid whatever the percentage was. But he taxed the wealthy. You know what got established during his era, during his time? Uh, the minimum wages, one, guaranteeing that they have to pay employees something, or the motherfuckers would have tried to keep slavery in or pay motherfuckers slave wages. I heard it was 25 cents when he first enacted it. Unemployment insurance, Social Security. When we get older, there's some money in the net and a little, savings to support the elderly. The unemployment insurance, you work a few years. If things go bad, there's a little money. All this shit was established under FDR. And this motherfucker really taxed the wealthy. But still, when you think about minimum wage, it was still low. Over 100 years, the cost of living on everything went crazy. Minimum wage barely budged. My whole fucking childhood, $2 to $3, $4, $5, whatever. Even now, what the fuck is the national minimum wage? $7 or $8? A few places just got $15 to its very own citizens. These are the wages that the corporations pay. Cheap as fuck. But when inflation rises, that benefits the corporations because they own the shit. They own the stores. They own the shit we have to pay for. When they say 1% of the people owns 10% of the stock, own 90% of the stock market, inflation benefits them motherfuckers. So you have people who are living below and people who are living way the fuck above the same economy, 2 different effects. So when I talk about dumb white motherfuckers who are in the same unemployment line with me, talking about Trump's for us, motherfucker, yeah, you stupid as fuck. That is the truth. Yeah, I said it. Trump has to serve those who funded his fucking campaign. Make no fucking mistake about it. So, we come into the 90s, 80s and 90s, and then uh, the economies open up to a global economy. And what we do, what the corporations here do, outsource became a big thing. Enriching the shit out of China, India, Bangladesh, wherever you could find cheap labor, which many third world countries, they would work for anything. Our job starts to go. All the factories in Chicago closes. They took out all the trades out of fucking high schools. There's corporations behind this shit because they're paying the money to the lawmakers. And the lawmakers go in as a senator, as an average earning person. 5 years later, they come out fucking millionaires. Same Congress, same shit. So they outsource all the work. Walmart leading the fucking pack. All the fucking products in Walmart made in fucking China. You know how many small to medium sized businesses Walmart run out of business here in the U.S. who can't compete in pricing because these motherfuckers getting it made over in China, paying motherfuckers 50 cents a fucking day, whatever. And then we got the nerve to complain about China doing this to us. China, we got to put tariffs on it. Motherfucker, we enriched them motherfuckers. And China's did the smart thing. They use those earnings and that building of their economy to go around and make allies with other countries. Unlike the U.S., raping and pillaging every fucking body. We got military bases sitting around 500 countries. Some ridiculous fucking number. Why? Because we're concerned. What? Because these motherfuckers don't like us. Why? Because we done fucked them over in some kind of way. So, then, that's more cheap labor. Corporations behind it. Then we go into the prisons. You know how many products are made in prison? Tell you something. Hang on, man. I wrote a book here. By the way, it's a good time to plug the book here. It's called Racism Anonymous. America Finally Tells the Trump. Let me break that down a little bit because most people get a little thrown by the name. Racism Anonymous means like Alcoholic Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, some shit I hadn't been in. It doesn't matter what color you are. If you're racist, if it's in you, you need to check this out. Just so happen it applies to most fucking white people in this country. But America Finally Tells the Trump. It's a play on America Finally Tells the Truth. Let's face it, in my opinion, Trump coming into politics in 2016 when he got elected, that motherfucker woke the world up. People look at politics totally different than they ever seen it. He gave our ass an education that I don't think this country ever got from another candidate. So yeah, America finally tells the Trump. We learned. We got a crystal clear vision of a much better vision, I'll say, of how this political shit works. So yeah, guys, you can pick up the book at precisionbusinessmarketing.com. Racism Anonymous, America Finally Tells the Trump. But the prison, just talk about some of the products made in prisons. Blue jeans, water beds, floor tile, motorcycle parts, vineyards, goat farms, fish farms, component for Patriot missiles, tilapia fish, which is sold right out of Whole Foods, and many more fucking products. I won't even go through all of them. Cheap, more cheap labor, next to nothing labor. You know, prisoners, you pay them motherfuckers $30, $40 a month. They guaranteed, you guaranteed excellent attendance. Motherfuckers in there strong in the motherfucker. They work hard because working past time. And on top of that, they feel like they're getting a skill that they can take to the street. I guess they'll learn when they get out in this motherfucker. Ain't no jobs out here. You got to go back in that motherfucker to get some work. But more cheap fucking labor. So you go all the way back to slavery, then the 30s and the minimum wage, then the outsourcing. These corporations, we love fucking cheap labor. Okay. So now we move into insourcing. Yeah. Now they're insourcing the bodies. First, they used to outsource the jobs to the different countries. Now, these motherfuckers are insourcing the actual bodies into America. Richard Wolff makes the point, economist I listen to a lot, makes the point that 12 to 15 million undocumented workers in this country. He makes the point that their combined earnings is so fucking low. They work for the cheapest of wages. Makes the point that they get cheated out of their wages by these employers because they're undocumented. What are they going to do? They can't argue. They can't go file nothing. They want to stay under the radar. But their income is so small combined that it is not the problem of American economy. And it makes sense. We have 330 million people in this fucking country, and you pick the poorest, which is that undocumented immigrants here, 10 million, and their income you're presenting as the reason why our economy is so goddamn bad. And he makes the point, no. It's just political talking points. It's just Trump. We're going to seal the borders. And you got all these nod shaking, clueless fucking people talking about, yeah, our economy is going to get fixed. Do you really think that if all the undocumented immigrants went back home tomorrow or got shipped back tomorrow and there was no more in this country, do you think your life would change? Do you think this economy would pick up? Do you think you would get a much better job? I hope you don't think that. It just goes to show you it's bullshit that these politicians be selling in these fucking campaigns. So they're insourcing it. We hear about corporations paying for their hotels. We hear about they getting food stamps. It's like, what about us? Americans like, ain't that a bitch? Guess what? That's the new labor force. So in addition to outsourcing, which they're going to continue to do, they're also bringing in the labor that will work right here for on the cheap. So what is that doing to Americans? What does these corporations really have in mind? You still don't believe these motherfuckers is trying to turn this country into something that resembles a third world country? Whew, that's going to be hard in America because we've gotten used to having it. But when you see the number of people that are leaving this fucking country, man, it raises questions of what the fuck is going on. And I'm totally convinced that these corporations are sucking the blood, are sucking the life out of the American economy. Richard Wolff also makes the point of how the American dominance over the world is coming to an end. China is the next uh, dominant economy, along with the BRICS. All the other countries that has joined China. Okay, now let's cap it off with robots. These motherfuckers, you don't even have to feed them. Just turn these motherfuckers on. They'll never stop fucking working. More cheap, next to nothing fucking labor. What are they doing, man? What are they fucking doing to the American economy? Don't kid yourself. These motherfuckers are ruthless, these corporations. The truth is, one of the reasons I wish they would have put Bernie Sanders up there because, he's one of the few candidates, that's why they label him a socialist, that understands the same thing that FDR understood, which was, well, it seems anyway, which was the rich has got to pay their share of taxes. These motherfuckers, taxes are taken from people who earn wages. The rich motherfuckers don't have wages. See, we have wages. If you work for a check, your Social Security tax, the Fed, the state, all that shit is taken out before you even get your check. Taxes is to wages. Motherfuckers who are worth millions and billions, and I got a billionaire list of about 700 motherfuckers. They don't have wages, they have earnings. They get capital gains earnings. They get earnings off their stock, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when you hear Donald Trump talking about he got the biggest tax cuts in the company, he ain't talking about the 80% of the working class motherfuckers. He's talking about that 1 to 5% of people who don't have wages, who have earnings. And then you got those dumb motherfuckers who vote for him like he's gonna break tax, he's gonna cut taxes. Motherfucker, he ain't talking about you. But see, they don't know that. One thing about Trump, I give to him, he's a closer. He's a hell of a closer, term that we use in sales. He is a fucking closer. He likes the art of closing the deal. That's the top title of his book, right? But he try and practice that. And if you listen to this motherfucker, there is nothing really knowledgeable that comes from the speeches that I hear from this guy. But I do hear this guy closing the fucking audience. Oh yeah, we're going to build walls, protect our jobs, protect our economy. We got thieves and robbers coming in, blah, 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 blah. We're going to put tariffs on China. They're robbing us. They're ripping us off. China ain't doing shit but what any other economy would do, building products and trying to sell it to buyers around the world, which is the same fucking thing we used to do. Uh, but somewhere along the line, greed just went into overdrive, and now we're different. So when you look at all these different points of free and cheap labor that these corporations are, uh, doing here in the American economy, man, we have to really bond and go against these motherfuckers. Because if they don't pay their fair share of taxes, and they use their fucking high paid accountants to uh, enable them to get all the benefits of tax avoidance. See, tax evasion is illegal, but tax avoidance is not. You can create all type of shell companies and bullshit to avoid paying taxes, and that's what these motherfuckers do. So, one of the things that I really hate about this country is that the wealthy, how their narrative, the shit they've pushed upon the people for a long time. Remember that trickle down economics bullshit? The shit didn't never made it. What happens now is there's reports out there that they talk about the transfer of wealth. $50 trillion have moved from the working lower class, which is average people working for 70, 80,000, 50, 40,000 a year, which is the bulk of the economy. $50 trillion over the past 20 years has moved from that group of people to the 1 to 5% elite motherfuckers. $50 trillion has moved. I think Reagan talking that trickle down economic, the shit went, it didn't work. So all these motherfuckers who are supporting that and still supporting it with Trump. The thing I hate most is, they talk that shit about how they're going to create jobs to help build the economy and get our economy back going again. But that's the talking point. What they're doing really in policy is creating every avenue of free and cheap labor that they can, as we just went over. So, these motherfuckers take no blame for the conditions of this economy. They don't. Uh, but they take all the glory when something goes right. I really hate motherfuckers like that. If you're gonna be the leader of any fucking thing, you gotta take it. You gotta take it all. You gotta take where you fucked up as well as the glory that you're gonna fucking take anyway. When it goes well, it's all you. Now that the fucking economy is in the tank, we're in the trillions of fucking debt. So many countries ain't fucking with us no more. China and its alliances with the BRICS is China, Brazil, Russia, India, Saudi Arabia, Egypt. Uh, all these countries like they are bonded together now, and combined they are bigger than the U.S. in terms of their economies, their combined economies, which means we ain't that superpower like we used to be. They're trying to get away from the dollar. So man, not to get too deep into that, but I just want to put some information out here from my point of view. Uh, we have reason to be alarmed with what's taking place in this economy, in this political arena that we're in today. We really should stop allowing these mediums to keep us so divided. See, they keep us so divided as people, we never think as a group. When the truth is, there's only two groups. And I'm sure many of us have heard this shit. Those that have and those that have not. And there's a very small percentage of people that have. And that's a corporatocracy. These rich fucking oligarchs that are the top 5 billionaires. Elon Musk, I wrote this shit down, 244 billion. Bezos, 197 billion. Amazon dude. Zuckerberg, Facebook dude, 181 billion. Ellison from Oracle, 175 billion. Warren Buffett, 150 billion. There's a list of, I think it's about 600 or 700 people on this list I was looking at that goes from these high numbers all the way down to 5, 4, 3, 2 billions. Uh, these are the people that benefit from tax breaks, that benefits from inflation because they own the shit. The stores that are higher where the food. These motherfuckers are the ones that are part of the conglomerate that owns them. So we have to put that shit in perspective. Not the greatest fucking scenario to be in if you're a part of the working class. I don't throw Warren Buffett in the category with the rest of them motherfuckers. I'll tell you why. You know, Warren Buffett talks about, it's a YouTube video out there. He sent a letter out to, I forget the number, 100 or so billionaires, um, proposing that they all give up all their wealth to fix the nation, fix the world, whatever. With the exception of 500 million, that each should keep $500 million, and let's give up the rest. You know how much money uh, that would be to be used to put this fucking country on a better track of rebuilding the infrastructure, putting people to work, handling our healthcare situations. Boy, all them motherfuckers said no. And he made some joke about, well, I need to now write a book on how to live on $500 million. As if these motherfuckers, they couldn't figure out how to live on $500 million. You're talking about guys with 244 billion, Bezos 197 billion. So no, I don't throw Warren Buffett in that group. He do seems like he has he spoke about during the Obama campaign when he was talking about the rich should pay more in taxes. It's an unfair economy. So he's been pretty vocal about that. But yeah, we live in a corporatocracy, which is moving into a kleptocracy. Uh, and that's when these motherfuckers starting to get sinister. I mean, sewing up the economy, sucking the life out of the economy is one aspect of it. That's the corporatocracy part. These motherfuckers are bloodsuckers. Now they're moving into this sinister space, is what I call it. You move into the kleptocracy. Now you're talking about these motherfuckers buying all the resources, owning the water and owning fucking all the land and rationing it to the people. Man, it's moving into a real dark, sinister place with these people. That's why, for a long time, I never understood that passage in the Bible that says it'll be easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for the rich to make it to heaven. Man, I get that shit now. Because, man, the way these people are fucking sucking the life out of us in this economy, these corporations, man, that's some greed that's you can't explain that shit. That shit is devilish, man. It's not giving a fuck about the fellow human being. No. So, I'm gonna close it up for now. I just wanted to come out here and talk about it a little bit. Uh, I got more to say. I got a lot of content. Got a lot of content in my book. So I'll be back. Remember, man, you can pick up a copy, ladies, whoever. Racism Anonymous, Precision Business Marketing.com. Uh, it's a good book. Like the video, subscribe to the video. I will be back. Got a lot more to say about this ugly fucking country I live in. While trying to be optimistic, I can't ignore what's happening. So one of the titles to one of the upcoming videos will be swatting flies and the crocodiles are biting. All right, so I'm going to say goodbye, sign off. The Seaman. Till the next time, everybody be good. Peace.